It was supposed to be just another quiet night in Atlanta, but what happened behind those closed doors turned the entire city upside down. The love and hip-hop community had seen scandals before, but nothing like this. By morning, blogs were on fire, hashtags were trending, and fans were saying this could go down as one of the most shocking nights in reality TV history. And it all started with Yandy. Out of nowhere, Yandy dropped a bombshell that no one saw coming. At a private gathering, she revealed a video that instantly shattered the image of loyalty, friendship, and family that so many people believed in. The footage allegedly showed Kirk and Bambi caught up in a night so wild, so reckless, that even fans who thought they had seen every kind of drama were left speechless. The whispers that started in that room spread like fire, and before long, the entire city was drowning in chaos. At first, it began as nothing more than small talk. A few people sipping drinks, trading stories, enjoying what should have been an ordinary night. But Yandy, usually calm and measured, leaned in and told everyone she had something too powerful to keep hidden. Her voice dropped low, but it carried weight. "Y'all think you know Kirk, y'all think you know Bambi. But what I got is going to change the way you look at them forever." The room went still, jaws tightened. No one dared breathe too loudly. People knew Yandy wasn't one to spread cheap gossip. If she said she had something, it was going to be explosive. And then, with one tap on her phone, the whole night shifted, gasps filled the air. Some screamed, others covered their faces. The footage was undeniable. Kirk and Bambi, side by side, laughing, touching, too close for comfort. The chemistry was loud, the intimacy impossible to ignore. And in that moment, the person most crushed wasn't even there yet, it was Rasheeda. Witnesses say the second she laid eyes on that clip, her world broke apart in front of everyone. Her disbelief melted into tears, her body trembling as if she could physically feel the betrayal stabbing her over and over. For years, she had carried the weight of forgiving Kirk. For years, she had stood by him through scandals, whispers, and endless apologies. But this was different. This was humiliation in its rawest form. Carly read, never shy about her feelings, clutched her chest and screamed, "Oh my God, this is insane. Bambi, girl, what did you do?" Her voice cracked through the silence, but the loudest sound of the night wasn't her outburst. It was Rasheeda's whisper, her voice breaking like shattered glass. "This can't be real. Tell me this isn't real." Her words cut through the crowd like a knife. Everyone froze. They all knew Kirk's history, his excuses, his lines about things being not what they look like. They thought of every time Rasheeda forgave him, every tear she shed, every vow she made to hold her family together, and now, here she was again, broken in front of her friends, her allies, her enemies, and worst of all, the cameras. Before Kirk could even defend himself, Scrappy spoke. His face twisted in disbelief, his voice heavy with desperation. "Nah, Bambi, this can't be you. Tell me this ain't true." His words weren't angry at first, they were pleading. He wanted to believe his wife wasn't involved in something that would tear not just their marriage apart, but his friendship circle too. But Bambi stayed silent. Her silence screamed louder than any denial. The weight of it made the room erupt in shouts, accusations, and cries. And when Yandy, still holding her phone, calmly said, "I didn't want to be the one to do this. But enough is enough. People deserve to know the truth," the last pieces of Rasheeda's strength shattered. Her knees buckled, and Sierra and Erica had to catch her before she collapsed completely. Her sobs echoed, raw and broken. "After everything I gave, after everything I fought for, this is what I get," she cried, her chest heaving, her tears pouring like rain outside that room. The fire spread faster than anyone could imagine. Within minutes, social media exploded. Clips leaked, screenshots circulated, and fans debated every frame. Some refused to believe it, clinging to the idea it had to be fake. Others said this was proof that Kirk had finally crossed the line for good. Hashtags with Rasheeda's name trended, fans flooded her page with heartbreak emojis and prayers, while others demanded she leave him once and for all. Inside the room, the fallout only grew. Scrappy, betrayed not just as a husband but as a friend, shouted at Bambi, "I stood by you through everything, through all the drama, through all the fights, and this is how you repay me." His voice shook with both rage and heartbreak. Finally, Bambi broke her silence. Her voice was sharp, trembling but defiant. "You think I planned this? You think I wanted this out? Y'all don't even know the whole story. The whole story." Those 3 words stopped the room cold. If the footage was already this bad, What else could possibly be hiding behind it? Rasheeda's sobs turned into fury. She ripped herself from Erica's arms and pointed straight at Bambi. You were supposed to be my friend. You sat at my table, you hugged my kids, and you were out here with my husband. Bambi's eyes filled with tears, but she held her ground. You don't know what was going on behind the scenes. But Rasheeda didn't care about explanations anymore. Her trust was shattered beyond repair, and then the door opened. Kirk finally walked in. The air shifted instantly. Every eye locked on him. Whispers turned into shouts. Accusations flew like bullets. Rasheeda's tear-streaked face locked on him with a stare that could slice through steel. Is it true? Did you do this? Did you betray me again? She demanded, her voice cracking under the weight of it all. Kirk, usually smooth, stumbled over his words. Rasheeda, baby, listen. It's not what it looks like, but those words only set the room on fire. Erica threw her hands up, furious. Boy, we tired of hearing that line? Every time it's not what it looks like, but it always is exactly what it looks like. Rasheeda stepped closer, trembling but fierce. You think I'm a fool? You think I'll keep forgiving you while you make me look stupid over and over again? The crowd was roaring now, fans online dissecting every second as clips leaked in real time. Some painted Yandy as the villain for airing dirty laundry. Others hailed her as the hero who finally exposed the truth. And in the corner, Scrappy and Bambi's fight grew louder. Scrappy slammed his hand against the table so hard it rattled. You destroyed us. You destroyed everything we built. Bambi, her voice breaking, shouted back through her tears. You don't understand. You don't even know the pressure I was under. The room was chaos, voices clashing, emotions spilling everywhere, betrayal hanging heavy like storm clouds. Through it all, Rasheeda stood frozen, her eyes locked on Kirk. Her tears had dried into something colder now. Her voice dropped into a whisper that silenced the room. I don't even know who you are anymore. And just when it seemed the night couldn't get any worse, the front door slammed open. Mimi stormed in, phone glowing in her hand, her face flushed with urgency. Y'all haven't even seen the half of it, she said. The room froze. Everyone turned, their bodies stiff with dread. Rasheeda held her breath. Kirk's jaw clenched. Bambi shifted nervously, bracing for impact. There's more footage, Mimi announced. Gasps rang out like gunfire. The night wasn't over, it was only just beginning. The room was already collapsing under the weight of betrayal. But when Mimi held up her phone and said, "There's more footage," the atmosphere grew suffocating. Gasps and cries echoed through the walls. Carly Red stumbled backward into her chair, nearly dropping her drink as she screamed, "Girl, what you mean, there's more?" Her voice cracked with fear and excitement, perfectly capturing what everyone else was feeling. The video began to play, and instantly, the room filled with the blurred glow of lights, music pounding faintly in the background. It was a private after-party, one not meant for the public eye. But there they were again, Kirk and Bambi, too close to comfortable. His arm draped around her waist, her lips leaning dangerously close to his ear as she whispered something that made him grin. And just before the clip cut off, their faces moved closer, crossing a line no one in that room thought they'd ever see captured on tape. Rasheeda's body collapsed into herself. Her breath left her like she had been punched. She clutched her stomach, staggering backward until she crashed into the couch. Her voice came out in a broken whisper, trembling and hollow. This is torture. This is humiliation. And that's when Yandy, standing with her arms folded, finally spoke again. See? I told y'all, people been protecting Kirk too long. People been protecting Bambi, too. But secrets don't stay buried forever. The room erupted. Voices clashed. Kirk tried to speak, his voice cracking under the noise. Rasheeda, don't listen to them. This ain't what it looks like. But no one was buying it anymore. Erica snapped, her tone dripping with disgust. Boy, how many times you gonna say that line? Every single time you get caught, it's the same excuse. You really think we blind? And then Scrappy, red-faced and trembling with rage, turned his fury on Bambi. His voice broke with both heartbreak and fury. I can't believe you dragged me through everything with my mama. All the fights, all the drama, and this is how you pay me back. I was defending you in public. I was fighting for you, and this the thanks I get. Bambi's face burned red, her voice rising through tears. You don't understand, Scrappy. You never cared what I needed. You never listened. Kirk was there when you weren't. The words exploded like dynamite. Gasps ripped through the room. Even the walls seemed to tremble with the weight of what she had just confessed. Rasheeda's sobs turned into a scream. Are you serious? You're justifying this. You're standing here in my face, in my home, and you're justifying sneaking around with my husband. Bambi's chest heaved, her mascara streaking down her cheeks. I'm not justifying anything. I'm saying nothing happens in a vacuum. But Rasheeda wasn't hearing it. Her finger pointed like a dagger, trembling inches from Bambi's face. You disgust me. You hugged my kids. You smiled in my face while sneaking around with my husband. The room spun into chaos again. Carly Red whipped out her phone, her camera flashing as she screamed. Fans need to see this. They need to see how low this really goes. And just like that, the madness went live. Thousands of fans tuned in within minutes. The comment section flooded with disbelief, with heartbreak emojis, with accusations and curses. Some fans stood with Rasheeda, calling her the ultimate victim once again. Others slammed Kirk and Bambi, saying they crossed a line that could never be undone. And then, in the middle of the storm, Kirk finally raised his voice louder than he had all night. Stop it. Everybody stop. The room froze. All eyes turned to him. For the first time, he looked less like the smooth talker who could spin any situation and more like a man cornered, with no escape. His voice cracked, his words stumbling. Look, I made mistakes, okay. But it wasn't like y'all think. Me and Bambi, we were just talking. We were drunk. Things got messy. It ain't no affair. It ain't no betrayal like that. Rasheeda laughed bitterly through her tears, the sound sharp enough to cut glass. Just talking. You call that just talking? I saw the way you looked at her. I saw your hands all over her. Don't you dare insult me like I can't tell the difference between talking and cheating. Erica jumped back in, shaking her head. Every time it's the same. Kirk. You get caught. You lie. You spin. You beg. How many times does Rasheeda have to suffer before you finally stop? And then came the bombshell that froze everyone in their tracks. Bambi, her voice breaking, shouted over the chaos. Y'all don't even know the whole truth. The room fell silent. The weight of her words sank deep. Rasheeda's eyes narrowed, her voice sharp. What truth? What else could there possibly be? Bambi's lips trembled, her tears falling freely now. Kirk wasn't the only one that night. The room exploded in screams. Carly Red nearly dropped her phone. Scrappy's fists clenched, his voice trembling. What the hell you talking about? Bambi. What you mean, he wasn't the only one? Bambi, her body shaking but her eyes blazing, repeated slowly. Kirk wasn't the only one. Gasps ricocheted through the room. Yandy's lips curled into a knowing smirk, as if she had been expecting more secrets to spill all along. Rasheeda staggered, her chest heaving, her voice barely holding together. Not the only one. Who else? Who else was there? The tension was unbearable. Everyone leaned in, desperate to know, terrified of what was about to be revealed. Scrappy slammed his fist on the table so hard cups rattled. Enough of this half-truth mess. Tell me right now before I lose it. Finally, Bambi blurted out. There was somebody else in that room. Somebody y'all know. The screams were deafening. Carly shrieked louder than anyone. Lord have mercy. Who else was there? But Bambi clamped her mouth shut, refusing to drop the name. Her jaw tightened in defiance, her tears falling freely. Rasheeda lunged forward, her body trembling. Say it, say their name. Before she could reach Bambi, Kirk stepped in between, his arms out as if he could physically stop the fire from spreading. Stop it, Rasheeda, stop. But his interference only fueled her rage. Don't you dare protect her, Kirk. Don't you dare stand there acting like I'm the crazy one. The fans online were spiraling into madness. Comments flew, faster than the stream could load. Theories exploded. Names were thrown around. Old clips were dug up, old photos dissected, fans trying to connect dots that maybe weren't even there. Meanwhile, Scrappy paced like a caged animal, his voice low but dangerous. I swear, Bambi, if you saying what I think you saying, you gonna regret it? Bambi locked eyes with him through her tears. I'm not playing. I'm telling the truth. Hiding it won't save us anymore. The weight of her confession hung in the room like a storm cloud, ready to break. And then, just as the tension reached its highest point, the door creaked open again. The last person anyone expected stepped inside. Spice. The room froze, gasps, wide eyes. Even Rasheeda, broken and trembling, whispered, Spice. What are you doing here? Spice stepped into the storm, her accent heavy with tension. I came because I heard what's going on. And y'all need to hear the truth. Because this ain't just about what you think, it's worse. The gasp that followed was deafening. Rasheeda stumbled, clutching the couch, her voice breaking. Worse, how could it possibly be worse? Spice looked around the room, her eyes landing on Kirk, on Bambi, on Yandy, and finally on Scrappy, who was still pacing like a lion. She lowered her voice, but made sure everyone could hear. That leak. That footage. That wasn't random. Somebody planned this. Somebody been sitting on this story for months, and tonight they wanted it to blow. The room erupted all over again. Carly screamed into her livestream, fans, y'all hearing this? It's a setup. A whole setup. But Spice didn't flinch. She stood her ground, her voice rising. This wasn't just about Kirk and Bambi. This was bigger. Somebody close to y'all wanted this to come out. The silence, after her words, was thick, unbearable. And that's when it became clear, this wasn't just a scandal. This was a war. This was a war.